Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing good. These videos are just to support the material that it's online. Remember, some of you are more visual or need to be a little bit more personal. So find these videos just in case that you need supporting material, okay? So far you know chapter 1 and 2, what you need to know about carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. I'm adding this X to represent halogens and sulfur. Those are elements that we find commonly in organic compounds. And the way that they are distributed are often called functional groups. So you can combine or you can make molecules with certain atoms in a specific arrangement, and that's going to be a functional group. It's going to be a family. Because they behave similarly, because they have similar reactivity, and so forth. We're going to start with hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are only made out of carbon and hydrogen. The name is telling you hydrocarbon, okay? We're going to have three main types of hydrocarbons, the ones that only have single bonds between carbon, 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 hydrogen. This family or this functional group is called alkanes. When you find double bonds between carbon atoms, the family is going to be called alkenes. And when you find triple bonds between carbon atoms, the family group is going to be alkynes. So it's very important for you to learn how to identify these groups, okay? So functional groups or families are studied because they keep similar characteristics of physical and chemical characteristics. So the first family that you'll study is going to be the family of alkanes, which is often referred as saturated hydrocarbons. The term saturated is referring that every possible bond that carbon can have is satisfied either by carbon or by hydrogen. So only single bonds between carbons or between carbon and hydrogen. And remember, typically carbon kind of have more than 4 bonds, and hydrogen kind of have more than 1 bond covalently speaking. The first thing that you need to learn is going to be how to name them. How can you identify that you have an alkane? It's going to be by the termination ane, which is also referred as the suffix. So all of them are going to end in ane. The nomenclature, every time that you hear or read that word nomenclature, is going to be referring to the way of naming compounds. There's a body, international body, that makes all the rules on how to name molecules, and it's the International Union of Applied and Pure Chemistry, oftenly referred by the letters IUPAC. And that's the formal way of naming any compound, okay? The nomenclature for alkanes is going to be based on the number of carbons that you have in the structure. There's different prefixes that we use to refer to one carbon atom in my structure. The prefix meth is to refer to one carbon. S is to refer to 2 carbons, and prop is to refer to 3 carbon atoms. Then we have but for referring to 4 carbon atoms. So I need you to repeat every morning before you stretch yourself. Meth, F, prep, prop, and but. If you learn these prefixes, you should be able to name alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes, because the only thing that is going to change is going to be the termination or the suffix of the name. So for 1 carbon atom hydrocarbon, we have methane. For 2 carbon atoms, we have ethane. For 3 carbon atoms, we have propane. For 4 carbon atoms, we have butane. When we have 4 carbon atoms, there's more than one way to arrange 4 carbon atoms, and that's when we have isomers. Like I know that you were working with isomers already. So isomers are molecules with the same minimal formula, but different arrangement or different connectivity. So in this molecule of butane, I have 4 carbon atoms. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hydrogens. The same thing for this molecule, but it's not a straight structure. So they have different properties in spite of having the same number of carbons. So a way of telling them apart is going to be by adding something to the name. This one is isobutane. Because it's an isomer for a butane. Okay, all the rest of alkanes are going to have prefixes corresponding to things that you already know. Penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca, undeca, dodeca, trideca, tetradeca, and so forward. So you're just, as long as you remember these 4, which are not the most common prefixes, you should be good to learn how to name any organic compound. So repeat every morning before you stretch: meth, eth, prop, but. Okay.